Hey guys, it's John here. I got a comment on one of the videos, and it had a comment below it, and the two of them together make a great video concept. So let me go ahead and read these, and then let's talk about it. What is evolution, and is it real? The concept, I mean. Also, could you help me with what psychopaths are and where they fit in with God? I've been thinking today and was wondering about these two things. What are your thoughts on it? That was the first question. The comment below it was, same question here. For me, it's impossible to understand evolution if we are God itself. What do we need to become or even learn here? Okay, there's a lot in this, and I want to dive right in. What is evolution? What is evolution? Evolution is trying to make meaning of why we exist in the physical world. Evolution is looking back and creating a pathway, a construct behind us of how we came to existence in the physical world. Where it gets tough is the reality of the physical world is almost completely and entirely a pure energy event. So if everything's a pure energy event, how does it tie in with the concept of evolution? Right? We search back through our history, and science is all about empirical evidence. And so we search for meaning, we search for things. But when you search for something, you're putting a thought into the world. You're putting a thought into the energy. You're putting a thought. And when you search specifically for something, it is shown to you because that is the way it works. What you think you become, you create your world. So people have said, we must come from monkeys. So they find evidence that we come from monkeys. We must come from fish. They find evidence that we come from fish. We must come from birds. They find evidence. The evidence is found because they believe the evidence will be found. They look for answers, but they look for answers with a concept or a theory in mind. And when they have that thought and that belief that is how it must have been, they start to see evidence of it. So the idea of evolution, did the physical body evolve? Sure it did. Absolutely it did. It evolved from the thoughts of the person before us and the person after us. It's funny. There's a lot of people in the evangelical world who believe the world's only 10,000 years old, right? And I mean, I can drive half an hour north of here and you see dinosaur bones that are older than that. And so, what's the reality? The evangelicals will tell you that, well, science isn't proven or science is wrong. All science is wrong. And then the scientists will say all the evangelicals are wrong. And the reality of it is what they're exploring is their path that they've created. It's a path that people have created. Then what happens is those people tell the next person, this is what you need to learn. That person learns that. What happens? That becomes their belief. It becomes their structure. All of it is a construct of the mind that has been handed down and handed around and searching for, but they haven't yet figured out that there's the missing link is not another physical entity. The missing link is really the fact that it's all thought, it's all energy, it's all pure energy and the energy of God. So. Going to the next part of your question here is what are psychopaths? Psychopaths are people who have discovered that they can't feel the love of God, or they're desperately searching for the love of God. So they manipulate people to make themselves feel powerful. They harm people to make themselves feel powerful because it gives them the adrenaline rush. It makes them feel like they are powerful. They have that feeling of this, and they've mistaken power for love. They think it is what they want. They think that that's why they live. I'm an adrenaline junkie. They're not thinking about the idea that the greatest adrenaline rush in the world is touching source, and that's why they do it. They don't realize that they're going out to get this adrenaline, but the adrenaline only happens because they're putting themselves in situations that allows them to feel joy, allows them to feel that exhilaration. I do that every morning. I go, And I feel that joy and exhilaration. It's exciting. Psychopaths are people who have been lost in their fears, and they're lashing out to be seen. They're lashing out to be recognized. They're lashing out to be held on to. So let me drop down to the question that was below that question. She's saying same question here. For me, it's impossible to understand evolution if we are God itself. You said that perfectly. For you, it's impossible. For you, it's impossible. But the second you stop telling yourself it's impossible, it becomes possible. The second you stop saying, I am able to understand this, I comprehend this. The issue that most people have is they think of God and themselves as separate. You create every day with God. Every moment of every day, you are divine and creative. The question is, are you consciously creating or subconsciously creating? Are you creating from you what you're choosing to create in your world, or are you creating from beliefs that you've been given? God and you are not separate, and God and you being separate is a belief you've been given. And that is a subconscious belief that God and you are separate. The other part you said in here, what do we need to become or even learn here? You don't need anything. You don't need to become anything. You don't need to learn anything here. What you need to do is experience love in all of its forms. Experience not having it, experience having it, experience enjoying it. This physical world is experience, in my belief, is so that we can come here to experience the love of God, the love of Source, the love of consciousness, in a way that is very visceral. Because if you never experience the lack of it, you would never experience it itself. We are here to experience love in all of its forms, good, bad, and ugly. And how can love be bad? The bad is not love itself. The bad is the fear and the feeling of lack or the illusion that God is not with us. But God is with us at all times. God is in every breath you take. God, in fact, if you want to feel God, allow yourself to exhale and relax and feel the feeling. That little tingle at the bottom of that exhale. That's the connection to Source. And it's in every breath you take. It's every breath you take. You said here, it's impossible for me. For me, it's impossible to understand. You just created with God, impossible to understand. Choose something different. Thank you, God, for the understanding that is being shown to me. Thank you, God, for the understanding. You already are creating with God. You already are divine. You already are doing all that you need. You need nothing. You need nothing. You have everything. You have the unlimited supply of God in your fingertips. The problem most people have is they have a hard time stepping into their divinity, stepping into the idea that, we are demand and God is supply. Whatever you ask in God's name is granted if you have faith, and God's name is I am, right? So if you have faith, it's your belief. You have to believe it. You have to step into the divinity of belief. You have to step into the idea. You don't need anything. If you need anything, it's simply to believe. It's simply to understand. But you don't need anything because you're already doing it. You're already creating. It's just a matter of acknowledging it rather than needing it. Because even when you decide I am needing, God will lovingly give you needing. God will lovingly give you needing. Whatever you ask in God's name is granted if you have faith. Does not say if it's, whatever you ask in God's name is granted if it's pleasant. Right? You are creating your experience. Whatever you ask for, you get. And that's really the key to this whole thing, is that you have the ability to, with your conscious belief, experience the world you want to experience. What you think you become, you create your world. You are the culmination of your thought. As a man thinketh, so is he. There is nothing good nor bad, but thinking makes it so. You are the creator of your experience. Take your thoughts, make them joyfully positive and present moment active, because life is also about motion. we experience things in motion. And so choose to stay in motion and not be stagnated by the belief that God is separate from you and that you desperately need something to get to him. Another thing is gender is not involved either. You know, I said him just a second ago, but there's no gender involved. God is all of us. God is every one of us, and we are God. It's a symbiotic relationship. So, is it possible for you to understand evolution? Sure, it is, because God said, "Whatever you ask, you will receive if you have faith." And people have asked for understanding how the physical body came to be, and so God said, "Okay, here, look at this. This is one way. This one idea. This is one thought." And that thought was probably because somebody else said, "Well, I believe we came from monkeys." And then the more they spoke, the more people believed, the more that people thought that, and the more they thought that, the more that was created into reality. All of these thoughts, all of these concepts are all of the mind, of the constructs of the mind. And to me, it's all far more simple. It's all unpacked. It's all down to the core element of feeling love or not feeling love. That is the question. So that's my thought on this. I hope you guys understand the concept. And, you know, if it doesn't feel right to you, I respect that. I completely respect that. What you think is what you create. And if you don't think this fits for you, then it might not be for you. You know, you get to create anything. There's nobody in this world who tells you what you should do. In fact, when I see people who post things on my channel that say, "Well, you're doing this wrong, you should be doing it this way," I delete the comments because it's not for them to tell me what to do. There's no should. Don't should on yourself. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye. Thank you, my friends, for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure that you've subscribed and you like it, you share it, but also comment below it. Let's get this community talking about these topics and spreading this information out far and wide so we can change the world for the better. Thank you.